Assalamu alaikum. In this video, we are going to continue with mass and density by solving the typical exercise related to them. Objectives. At the end of this video, students will be able to solve the typical exercise. Please, I want you to prepare a calculator, a notebook and a pencil, and your physics booklet. Typical exercise, page 25. In order to determine the volume of a piece of modeling clay P, a grade 7 student put it in a glassware A as the figure below shows. Now I ask myself, what is the aim of the experiment? It is to determine the volume of the clay. Does this clay have a specific and regular shape? No. So how can I calculate its volume? You remember that we can immerse it in water. That's great. Question 1. Give the name of glassware A. It is a graduated cylinder. Question 2. Name the method used to determine the volume of the piece of modeling clay P. It has two names, either immersion or water displacement. Question 3. Determine the volume of the piece P. Look at cylinder 2. Can you indicate directly the volume? No. So what are the steps that you should follow? They are the steps applied in worksheet 2. First, take any two successive values, for example 300 and 400, subtract the smaller one from the bigger one, then count the number of dashes between these two values, which is 5 dashes in this case. Now the third step, divide the values 100 over 5, it is equal to 20. What does this mean? This means that each dash measures 20 milliliter. Again, look at the figure to determine the level of water before immersing the clay. It is 340 milliliter. Now the level of water after immersing the modeling clay, it is equal to 420 milliliter. Now what is the last step? You must subtract volume 2 from volume 1, and the final answer is 80 centimeter cube. Then the student asks, does the volume of a piece of modeling clay change if we change its shape? What does this problem mean? The student wants to change the shape of the modeling clay and notice if the volume will change or not. To solve this problem, he changes the shape of piece P to obtain a new shape B. What is the volume of clay determined by method 1? It is 80 milliliters or 80 centimeter cube. Keep this value in your mind. Question 1. Formulate a convenient hypothesis to this experiment. But what is a hypothesis? A hypothesis is a prediction for the result. Here you can use the question itself to formulate the hypothesis, where you can answer this question in the way that you see that is correct. If you predict that the volume will change, you will write this prediction in the form of a hypothesis or complete sentence. And don't forget to write the word hypothesis at the beginning. And pay attention to your hypothesis. It must include the manipulated and the responding variables. Pick up from this experiment the controlled variables, which are the common variables between experiments 1 and 2. You can say it is the same clay, or the volume of water, or the glassware. You can choose any two. The manipulated variable, it is the difference between the two experiments, which is the shape of the clay. The responding or affected variable, it is the measured volume. Complete the following table. To complete the table, observe the volume determined in experiment 1 and in experiment 2. Then fill the table easily. Is the hypothesis verified? Justify the answer. To determine if your hypothesis is true or false, you should compare your hypothesis to the obtained results. If they are the same, your hypothesis will be true. For example, if your hypothesis was that the volume of the clay will change if we change its shape, then in your answer you must write down that no, because the volume of clay A is equal to the volume of clay B is equal to 80 centimeter cube. Finally, the student changes the shape of the piece B into rectangular prism C of dimensions 8 cm, 5 cm, and 2 cm. So now, the same clay, but it has a new regular shape, which is a rectangular prism. In order to calculate its volume, you will apply the formula volume equal length times width times height, and the answer is 80 centimeter cube. To determine the mass of the piece of modeling clay C, the student uses instrument X as the figure below shows. Give the name of the instrument X, balance with equal arms or two-pan balance or Roberval balance. Question 3 part A. Find the mass of the piece C. You have to add the standard masses together, and its mass is equal to 148 grams. Finally, calculate the density of this piece. Simply, you have to apply the formula. Density equals mass divided by volume, and the final answer is 1.85 gram per centimeter cube. Don't forget, my dear students, to write down the units clearly. Thank you, dear students, for listening.